players trying to climb the ranks of One of the biggest challenges for players trying to climb the ranks of League of Legends is getting past bronze and silver to reach gold. This could come as a result of many different struggles. However, if you stick to the tips given in this guide, you will be able to increase your win rate and begin your climb with a good foundation. The best way to successfully climb to gold is by choosing the right champions. The strongest champions can make good initiations. You will also want to play champions that have a very strong ultimate ability, one that can greatly impact the outcome of a team fight when you use it. Amumu, Malphite, and Fiddlesticks are great examples, since their ultimates are extremely strong for initiating and can affect multiple targets. When you play a champion who is a strong initiator, your team will always look for you to make the first move, allowing them to easily follow up. These champions are usually aggressive, and their kit works best when they are in the middle of a team fight. At lower ranks, your enemies aren't likely to position properly, often making them easy targets for strong initiators. When deciding whether or not to initiate on one of these champions, consider the position of your allies. If your allies are within range to follow up, then it is likely a good time to initiate. This will allow them to focus up on your crowd control and clean up the fight. If you are able to catch out an important target like the enemy AD or AP carries, then you may be able to turn that into a game-winning push. You should also consider champions that scale well into the late game. They may not have the strongest early game, but when you get into the mid or late game, you can really start to snowball your lead. In bronze and silver, games tend to go on for a long time, with players not fully understanding how to close out games. This is why it's so effective to play a champion that scales well into the late game. Even if you fall behind in the early game, there is a good chance that you will be able to recover and take the lead through scaling alone, giving yourself an edge over your enemies. Nasus, Llegar, and Tryndamere are all champions that do a lot of damage and scale well into the late game. You should also consider playing champions with simple mechanics. They tend to be very successful in lower ranks because they are easy to play and lessen the likelihood that you will make a mistake due to the champion's complexity. For example, a champion such as Lee Sin is great in Platinum or Diamond, but he is so mechanically complex that just by picking him, you would open yourself up to potential misplays. By playing a simple champion such as Garen or Warwick, you can use them to their maximum efficiency without having to devote as much time to mastering their mechanics. They are easy to pick up due to their simple skill sets, but will deal a lot of damage and will help you win more games as you climb to gold. You should also take the most recent patches into account when deciding your champion. If you have been playing a champion that was extremely strong in a previous patch, but was hit with a nerf in the latest patch, you should consider playing a different champion. While you may be good with that champion, oftentimes the changes will allow your enemies to outperform you and can cost you games. Keep an eye out on the latest patch notes in order to better understand who has newfound strengths and weaknesses. Lastly, you should always look to pick a champion that excels in a team fight. While you can control the outcome of the early and mid game with your solo play, team fighting will usually decide if a game ends up in a victory or defeat. Swain, Lux, and Morgana are great examples of champions that excel in team fights. Swain and Morgana are enablers that dive right into the middle of the enemy team in order to distract and take the focus of the enemy team. This enables their allies to follow their lead and to clean up team fights. Champions like Lux are better at supporting their allies by standing in the back and offering team shields, while slowing and locking down their opponents with their crowd control. With lower cooldowns, she is able to get off multiple rounds of her spells in any given team fight. This allows her to be extremely effective at deciding the outcome of games. By better understanding why certain champions do better at lower ranks, you will be well prepared to select the right champions to help you climb to gold.